Okay, these two are a little bit more interesting. Let's see. Basically, Core application does very little logic, okay, processing. It doesn't really do too much deciding or changing of workflows by default. Okay, but the application basically just this waits for expects the implementer to decide all those workflows and all those little changes of each business, how it has to go. Okay, but there are a few places where some decisions were made about a process. Okay, and this is exactly one of those places. When um, when sales when an invoice is saved, if the sales order is related, that sales order will get its status changed. The business logic is that if you make an invoice for a sales order, it's because the sales order has been finished. I mean, it has been done. It's already, or at least it's approved. It's all, I mean, you're getting paid for it, so it should be already done. So it changes the status of the sales order. The same happens when you save a sales order with a quote related, because you understand that the business logic is that if you get a sales order from a quote, it's because it has been approved. The quote has been accepted. So we change the status on the quote. Okay. Now that was hard coded to a certain state and certain status on the status pick list in each of those modules. So what we did was not only extract that hard coded decision, that hard coded status, and put it in a global variable so you can decide what status you want. But we took that a little bit further and we added a virtual status, whereas you can indicate the system, tell the system not to do the change at all. Okay, let's see how that goes. Okay, let's go over here to I have an invoice opened, right? Oh yeah, this is creating. Okay, no, let's go over to the invoice module. No, I'm going to go over to sales order. We're going to pick a sales order and we're going to add an invoice to it. So we'll see how it changes. The status changes. Okay, I'm going to pick up this sales order. Could be any sales order. Let's make sure it has no invoices. Okay, very good. And the status is here. Let's see where the status is so we can see the values. Okay, it says it's sent. And we have created, approved, auto created, paid, credit, canceled, delivered. We have a bunch here. Okay, so it's sent, and I'm going to create an invoice here, over here on the action module, action link, excuse me. Let's zoom that back out. Okay, it copies all the fields over, all the information, all the values, everything. Okay, so I'm going to save this one, and we're going to go back to the sales order and see what status that left that. Okay, so you can see here that it changed the value. Okay, it went to approved. That's the business logic that's hard coded in the application. Okay, so now I can get any value of this pick list, auto created, paid, credit, invoice, cancel, any of the values that are here, and I could use those for the value of the global variable that I want. Okay, so I'm going to set it to delivered. It's just one that I picked. Okay, so let's jump over to the global variables module. And we're going to do the same thing we did before. Okay, I'm going to create a global variable for the sales order status on save, and I'm going to put delivered. Okay, I wrote that wrong. Delivered obviously has to be exactly the same. So let's just make sure deliver. Yeah, okay, I got that right. Okay, delivered. Okay, let's jump down to the end of the descriptions and see what the description has to say about this variable, so we can see what we're going to do. Okay, sales order status on invoice save. Valid sales order status pick list values. Okay, so it's a string. You can put any value as long as that value is in the pick list. I mean, because if not, it's going to get incorrectly assigned. And here's the explanation says that when saving an invoice related to a sales order, the status of the sales order will be set to the value contained in this variable. Okay, exactly what I just explained. Okay, the special value do not change will deactivate this functionality and no change will be done. Okay, let's gonna see that. We're gonna see both of those things. Okay, let's say first the delivered, and let's do the logic again. I'm going to set this as also a default. Okay, we're not trying to configure anything here in the sense of I'm going to just jump over one to the next sales order, and let's make sure this sales order doesn't have any invoices either. Okay, very good. And let's see, it's in status approved. Okay, okay, good. And let's create the invoice, and we should get delivered. Okay, I'm just going to save this invoice. No need to even really look at it. I mean, and let's see what happens to the status of our sales order. Okay, perfect. Delivered. Okay, that worked very well. Okay, and now let's try the next value. Okay, I'm going to edit the global variable, and I'm going to set do not change. So with this value, what we're really doing is totally stopping the functionality. Okay, we deactivate the functionality. So in the we leave in the hands of the implementer to decide exactly how he wants this business logic to happen. Okay, let's jump over to another sales order. This one is in status sent, and let's make sure there's no invoices. Okay, and now I should be able to save this one. Okay, we create a new invoice just like before. We save, and I should be back to the sales order with the status of sent. Okay, so we effectively deactivated the functionality. The quotes is exactly the same. Quote status on sales order save is exactly the same variable. Let's jump over to the variable definitions, and let's just read that one. I mean, I'm not going to implement a variable, I'm not going to create the variable because it's exactly the same thing we just saw. But well, let's read this over here. Okay, again, quote status on sales order save implemented. It's a string. It's a valid quote of the status pick list in the quote, and it says when saving a sales order related to a quote, the status of the quote will be set to the value contained in this variable, and the special value do not change will deactivate the functionality. Okay, well, that was it. I just wanted to speak about these four global variables. So I hope that helps. Thanks for listening, watching.